All right, so what if I told you that the best marketing content you could ever create, well, it isn't something you have to invent from scratch. Seriously, it's already happening right now inside your business. So today we're going to break down exactly how to find those hidden stories and turn them into content that doesn't just get likes, but actually builds a real, loyal audience.
I think we all know this feeling, right? It's like you're stuck on this endless content treadmill. You're just constantly running, trying to come up with something new, something witty, anything that'll finally get some traction. It is completely exhausting.
But here's the thing. What if the solution wasn't about hustling harder or brainstorming until your head hurts? What if the most powerful, most engaging content you could ever make is already happening? Like right now, all around you. That's the secret. It's a total mindset shift, and it's what we're diving into today.
So this brings us to this really foundational idea, the everything is content mindset. Basically, your journey is your gold mine. You know, think about a brand you love, maybe like Patagonia. They don't just sell jackets, right? They document everything, their fight for the environment, the struggles they face, the big wins. Their entire journey is the content.
Okay, so what does this actually mean in practice? Well, it's really just about pulling back the curtain. You know, when you share the whole process, the messy parts, the tough calls, the little wins along the way, you're doing so much more than just marketing. You're building real trust. You're creating a human connection. And that is what makes people want to stick around for the long haul. Look, theory is great and all, but let's make this super practical. Let's just imagine for a second that you run a clothing brand. You're starting completely from scratch. Okay, so where's the content? Well, it's literally everywhere. I mean, just look at this list. Your origin story? That's content. The nightmare of searching for your first manufacturer? That's a story. That feeling when you open a box of samples and they're all wrong? That's amazing, relatable content. The chaos behind a photo shoot, the jitters of your first pop-up? Every single one of these is a story just waiting to be told. And just like that, bam, you've got like a month's worth of stuff to talk about, and you didn't even have to sit down for one of those painful brainstorming sessions.
Okay, great. So you've got the mindset down. But now the big question is, how do you actually turn these little moments into stories that people will, stop scrolling to watch? Well, that is where the 5-part story arc comes in. This is a proven framework that's going to give all that raw material some real structure.
Now, this might look familiar because it's a classic storytelling structure, but it's been perfectly adapted for the crazy speed of social media. So you start with a hook, gotta grab their attention. Then you give a little bit of setup or backstory. Then the rising action builds up the tension. You hit them with a climax, that big turning point, and then you wrap it all up with a resolution. And, super important, a call to action.
And this right here, this is the real game changer. It's the timing. You have literally less than 5 seconds to hook someone. 5 seconds! Then you get about 15 seconds for context. The big chunk of your video, maybe up to a minute, that's for building tension, showing the struggle, and then boom, a quick climax and resolution. I'm telling you, this is the formula for keeping eyeballs absolutely glued to the screen.
So does this stuff actually work in the real world, like for a regular business? Absolutely. Let's look at a perfect case study that just nails this framework, Presto Dry Cleaners.
This was their opening line. This is my husband, Wee-Tien. 8 years ago, he left a stable tech career to take over his parents' dry cleaning business. I mean, come on, that is an incredible hook. It's simple, it's direct, and it's so compelling. You've got this classic conflict right away. Stability versus family legacy, the modern tech world versus a traditional business. You just have to know what happens next.
So what happened next? Well, this happened. Over 1 million views. 1 million! And listen, this wasn't some huge brand with a massive marketing budget. This was a family-run dry cleaning business. That is the incredible power of telling one single authentic story.
And get this, it wasn't just about empty views. That one story brought in over 21,000 new followers in just 3 weeks. This is so key. A well-told story doesn't just get you views. It builds you a community of people who are invested in your journey.
So let's break down why this worked so well. First, the stakes were super relatable. I mean, who hasn't thought about leaving a stable job for something they're passionate about? The conflict was crystal clear, modernizing an old family business. The transformation, watching them go from handwritten receipts to AI systems, was just fascinating. But maybe the most brilliant part? Their call to action. It wasn't buy our stuff. It was an invitation. Follow along as we figure out if we can pull this off. That little shift changes everything. It makes you feel like you're part of the team, not just a customer.
Okay, so this framework isn't just something to admire from afar. It's for you.
It's for your business. So the real question is, how can you start using this, like, today?
Here's your action plan. It's super simple. Step 1, just pick one small moment from your business this week. A little win, a frustrating challenge, anything. Don't overthink it. Step 2, take that moment and map it out using that 5-part story arc we talked about. Step 3, keep your videos short, under 90 seconds, and just write like you speak. Be yourself. And step 4, and this is a big one, please just film it with your phone. The story is what matters. The authenticity is what matters, way more than having a fancy camera.
So, that really just leaves us with one last powerful question. I want you to think about your week. The challenges you face, the little victories, the messy behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody sees. What story are you going to tell first?